Morning. Hello. Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy to be with you. So happy to see all your names here. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. We'll slowly get ourselves started, giving it a couple minutes just in case anybody else joins us. I think I know everybody, but I have to remind myself that there are more than one Selmas in the world. There are more than one Britneys in the world. So if you are new to me, my name is Hayley, and we'll be together for about an hour for an all levels yoga class. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining me. And we'll slowly get ourselves started. In case I haven't seen any of you yet this year, I think I may have seen most of you, but I broke my wrist over the holidays. So I'm in a cast for 6 weeks, and I won't be putting any weight on my wrist, obviously, or my forearm. So I'm going to be modifying my practice quite a bit. So listen more to my language and the words I use and less to the body postures that I take. So I will be modifying, and you can take those modifications with me as well if you have any issues with your wrists. It's a great learning lesson. Honestly, it is a gift sometimes to have an injury. It teaches us a lot. So take that same principle with your own body. So adjust or modify any of the poses that we take. Give yourself breaks whenever you'd like. There's no expectations here. It's not a competition. This is time for you to be in your body and to move in your body, and it should feel rejuvenating for you. So take that on your own. So if you're practicing on a yoga mat, go ahead and roll out a yoga mat. If not, roll out a towel or a blanket, or pad yourself up with pillows or rolled up towels if you're practicing on a hard floor. And gather any props that you would like to use during your practice. So I have a rolled up blanket. You can use a blanket, pillow, or towel. A strap is really great. If you'd like to have a strap, you could use a strap, belt, scarf, be creative, whatever's around your house, sweater, socks. Blocks are great to bring the floor closer to you. So if you have blocks, grab those, get those handy. Otherwise, use stacks of pillows, stacks of books. Have a chair nearby you if you'd like assistance in getting up and down. A chair can be a really, really useful thing to use in your practice as a prop. So really get creative with your yoga practice. It doesn't have to look like how we see it in Instagram or in the magazines. So let's get started. All right, let's come on down to our mat to begin, and we're going to start down on our backs. So come on down in the easiest way possible. Again, if you need to use a chair or have a wall or a table nearby you, you can feel free to do that. Come on down to your back. Let your spine settle. We'll just take a moment to ground ourselves here. So I'm going to take constructive rest, taking the feet about as wide as the yoga mat and letting the knees drop in towards each other at center. If that's not comfortable for you, feel free to extend your legs. Pad yourself up with pillows or blankets. If being on your back feels a little bit too heavy on your chest, you can support your chest up a little bit with rolled up pillows or towels. And we'll just take a moment to ground ourselves, letting the shoulders relax and softening through the muscles of your face. If you're comfortable, you can allow your eyes to softly close. And take a moment to notice the stillness of this moment. Within that stillness, even if there are sounds around you, noticing that within this idea of slowing and stopping. There's a quietude. There may be a calming sense. And before we begin to move our bodies today, we'll just introduce our gratitude practice. So we'll just bring to mind here something that we are grateful for. Well, this may be a challenge. That's okay. You can think of something really simple. If you'd like, perhaps even your morning cup of tea or coffee, or the ability to be here today. Perhaps it's something grander. Perhaps it's a person or an aspect of your life, a situation. Just allow yourself to bring that to mind. And I'll apologize, my dog is having an experience with a squirrel through the window, so she's making a little bit of noise, but you can appreciate and be grateful for her sense of fun. So as you bring that feeling of gratitude to mind, we'll notice if that has an experience or an effect, I should say, on our bodies. So when we bring that thought, that thing that we are grateful for to mind, how does that affect your body? Does something happen to the breath? Is there a sensation in the cheeks or the forehead? Sometimes there can almost be this upwelling, this feeling of a smile coming upon the face. There tingles. Just allowing yourself to notice the effect that a thought of gratitude can have on the physical experience of the body. Noticing how powerful that is. And then we'll take a nice deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Allow your eyes to open, allowing that to be a nice soft focus for the eyes. And set yourself up so your spine is really grounded down on the mat. And take your feet forward, feet facing towards the front of your mat, knees up towards the ceiling. Feet can be about hip width apart, or you can always take your feet further forward or wider if that feels better on the fronts of your knees. Anchor your palms beside your hips. Start to tilt your hip points towards the ribs and slowly start to roll through your spine, lifting the hips up. Taking a nice breath there in a bridge pose. And then nice and slowly roll through your spine, releasing the hips down. So if you noticed you felt sensation in the fronts of your knees, feel free to adjust the stance of your feet. We will lift again. Tilt the hip points towards the ribs, roll through the spine, lifting the hips up. Breathing deeply. And then nice and slowly roll through your spine, releasing those hips back down. We'll take that one more time, tilting the hip points towards the ribs, rolling through the spine, lifting up. And then nice and slowly rolling through the spine, releasing the hips down. We're going to take that 2 more times, but this time bend your right knee and extend your right leg up. Now, that knee does not need to be straight. You can have a bend in your knee if that's more available for you. And then we'll again lift those hips up. So engage your low belly. Press through the bottom of your foot to lift those hips up and try to keep your hips level. So if you notice that right hip is dropping down, try to activate the lower half of your body, so your glute and your hamstring, to even out those hips. Take a moment there. And we'll slowly lower back down, release that right foot, and extend your left leg. Feel free to have a bend in your knee. It's first thing in the morning. Sometimes the back of the leg is not feeling warm enough to work towards straight yet. Press into the foot, engage your low belly, lifting up. Make sure you still have space between your chin and your chest so you can still breathe. Think of pressing through the bottom of your foot. Press your palms down, open up your chest. And nice and slowly lower back down, release that foot. Now take your feet a little bit wider and nice and slowly allow your knees to knock from one side to the other. Nice and gentle there, rocking from side to side. Nice full deep breaths. And then next time your knees drop over to the right, just stay there for a moment. Nice full breath. Come through center. Knees knock over to the left. Stay there for a moment. Nice full breath. And nice and slowly come back through center. Hug both knees in towards your chest. And we're going to come up to seated. I'm going to rock and roll back on my spine. If that doesn't work for you, roll to the side and bring yourself up to sit. So however you like to come up, I like a little rock and roll. You get a little spinal massage there as you rock forward and back, and then come on up to sit on your bottom. Legs in front of you. Lift up and out of your waist. Take your palms beside your hips. Broaden through the chest. Engage your low belly. And play with the idea of lifting your feet up off of the mat into boat pose. You can always keep one foot down and alternate back and forth. If lifting both feet up is not available today, you can always keep both feet down as well. So take that variation where you feel you're challenging yourself and you're feeling strong, but you're not forcing yourself into a posture and creating this feeling of discomfort, not discomfort, but or pain or dis-ease in the body. Breathing deeply here. Good. And then nice and slowly lower those feet back down. Lift up. Hold on to your knees and gently lengthen your spine. Your feet can be a little further forward if you like. Take your right hand behind you. Rotate towards the right side. Take your left hand to that right leg and you can stay there, or hook your elbow to the outside of that right knee. And as you push the elbow into the knee, try not to drop the knee into center. Try to actively press the leg back. Take a nice spinal twist. Come back through center. Take the other side. So left hand comes behind you. Right hand comes to that left leg. Lift up and gently rotate towards the left side. Stay with that, or hook your elbow to the outside of the knee. And again, try not to drop the knee into center. Keep that leg really active. Good. And then nice and slowly come back through center one more time through your boat pose. So take the feet together, palms beside you, lift up, engage the belly as you slightly tilt back. Feel free to keep those feet down or alternate lifting one and then the other, or you can lift both feet up. And if you'd like from there, perhaps extend the legs. You can keep your palms beside your hips or hold on to the backs of your thighs, or if you'd like, begin to reach the arms forward, lengthening through your fingertips, pressing through the balls of your feet, breathing for 1, for 2, and 3. Slowly lower down. Now cross out your shins and give your hips a little shake out. And we'll come forward through to our hands and your knees. So sweep your legs behind you and come on forward through to your hands and your knees. Find a tabletop position. And we'll move through some cats and cows here. So rooting through your palms. Take a nice inhale. Lift your heart gently. Arch your back. And as you exhale, round your back. Tuck your chin to your chest. Inhale, begin to lift your heart and arch your back. And as you exhale, round your back, tuck your chin to your chest. Just a few more rounds of these cats and cows. Feeling your way through your spine. Noticing if you can really begin to connect breath and movement. Good. And then we'll allow our spine to move back a little bit more to neutral. Take your knees a little bit wider if you'd like, and start to breathe your hips back towards the direction of a child's pose. So take those knees as wide or as narrow as feels comfortable as you drop your chest down. If it's not comfortable to send your weight back, you can always bring your weight a little bit further forward. You can pad up your knees by doubling up your yoga mat. You could also place a pillow or towel behind the knees for extra padding if the backs of the legs are sensitive, or place something underneath your forehead, maybe doubling up your fists, or a nice soft pillow or a soft block if you have that. And just take a moment to rest here and breathe deeply into your low back, feeling free to change this shape if this is not a resting pose for you. So you can always come back up to a comfortable seated position if that feels a little bit more restorative for your body. Or again, bring your weight further forward. Just offering yourself a moment to reflect on how you feel in your body and remind yourself to take care of this one body that we get. Resting whenever you'd like, modifying however you'd like. Tuning into what you need today. Good, and then nice and slowly, let's bring ourselves forward, rooting your palms down, tuck your toes here, lift up and back into a downward facing dog. So taking those feet as wide or as narrow as you'd like, depending on what's happening for your hips today. I tend to like hip width apart for my body. And then find a little bit of movement. If you'd like, bend into one knee and the other. You can sway through your hips or shake out your head. If you want to modify your down dog, if you have a broken wrist or if your wrist feels sensitive, lower your knees down, reach your arms forward and take a puppy pose instead, still getting the benefit of the length in the spine, taking the pressure off of the wrists. You can always feel free to come back into a tabletop position as well if that feels better for you today. Just taking a few more breaths in your down dog or your puppy pose there. Softening through your jaw. Good. And then nice and slowly, lift up if you were in puppy pose, and nice and slowly start to tiptoe or walk your feet forward to your hands. Bend your knees there as much as you'd like and come into a forward fold. Hanging nice and heavy over your legs as you let your head go. Shoulders fall really heavy. So here we can allow the shoulders to fall towards the ears. Deeper bend to your knees. Take your time, slowly start to roll yourself up, allowing your head to come up last. Once you're up, take a few rolls of your shoulders, nice and easy. Take your time. Good, and we'll roll down again. So slowly drop your head, drop your shoulders, roll through the spine, releasing the body, hanging down nice and heavy. Let that head go. Now from here, let's find a halfway lift. Palms can come to your shins, your thighs, or a prop. Reach your heart forward as you lengthen out of your waist. You can always elevate those hands a little bit more. Lots of space. And then nice and slowly fold back forward over your legs, rooting your palms down. Step your feet back to a plank. Holding your plank for a moment, feel free to lower your knees down in your plank or your forearms and your knees. So you want to feel a plank where you feel really nice and strong and stable. You can always come to tabletop as well if that's better for you today. And then from there, let's slowly lower down to our belly, either from your hands and your knees or your hands and your feet, or like a little worm with me, however you'd like to get down. And lower yourself down to your belly. Take a moment, breathing deeply. Find your forearms down, elbows underneath your shoulders. Lift your heart forward, lengthening out of your waist for a Sphinx pose here. broadening through your chest, noticing how that feels. See if you can lengthen your tailbone and engage your belly a little bit more. So often we kind of press the front hips down and the belly down. See if you can gently lift them up a bit. You may notice a slight decrease in your back bend, but maybe a little bit more support for your low back. And then let's slowly lower down, reach your arms back behind you. As you reach your fingertips back, gently lift your chest. Perhaps lift the legs there in a locust pose if you like. Now I'll probably take locust pose for all of my back bends today. You can feel free to stick with me and take locust pose, a beautiful strengthener for the back line of the body. Or you can always come back into your Sphinx with your forearms down, or come up into a cobra with your palms down, or an upward facing dog with your palms down, your chest lifted, and your knees lifted as you press the tops of your feet down into the mat. So playing around with your back bend. Nice and slowly, let's lower back down. From here, we're going to push back up through to our hands and our knees. Take your knees as wide or as narrow as you like and breathe your hips back into a brief child's pose. We're here just for a moment. And then when you're ready, come back up through the hands and knees, tuck your toes. Dog, or feel free again to lower those knees down, reaching your arms forward. Take a nice breath. Good, and then we'll walk our feet back forward to your hands. So take your time nice and slowly, tiptoe walk. You can hop your feet forward if you'd like, and hang nice and heavy over your legs. Let your head go. Now again, let's roll ourselves up. So take a nice generous bend to your knees. Begin at the base of your spine, rolling your way back up. A few rolls of your shoulders once you're up. Good. Now this time, finding a nice strong stance in Tadasana, mountain pose. Feet can be hip width apart or wider, or you can take your big toes touching, heels a sliver apart. From here, as you ground down through your feet, take a nice inhale, guide the arms up overhead, settle the shoulders, lift up and over towards that left side. So taking a side bend here, as if you're holding onto a beach ball here, try not to collapse that left shoulder forward. Keep it nice and open. Come back through to center, head to the other side. So gentle side bend towards the left. Reaching over, but keeping that front body nice and open. And then nice and slowly, let's come back through to center. Connect at the palms. Gently bow forward over your legs. Again, take a gentle bend to your knees if you'd like. Find your halfway lift. Palms come to the shins, the thighs, or a prop, reaching your heart forward. And as you exhale, fold, rooting your palms down. Step your feet back to your plank. Again, modify as you see fit. And from there, lower down to the belly, hands and knees or hands and feet, however you'd like. And take your back bend, either with your forearms down, your palms down, or you can reach back, lift the chest, lift the legs in your locust pose. I think it can be really, really valuable, especially in a yoga practice, which really focuses on lengthening the back line of the body, to add more strengthening into the back line of the body in our yoga practice. So poses like bridge pose, locust pose are really going to support that, so that we're not overstretching those back line muscles. Good, let's slowly lower back down. Push back up through to your hands and your knees. Tuck your toes there and lift up and back into your down dog, or modify as you see fit. It's a squirrel party happening on my back deck, so I'm sure my dog's going to get involved pretty soon. I'll apologize in advance. Take a nice breath. Rooting your palms down, slowly tiptoe walk or float your feet forward to your hands, hanging nice and heavy over your legs. And again, let's take a nice roll up. So bend into your knees. Take your time rolling through your spine to lift yourself up. And a few rolls of your shoulders once you're up. Anchor down into your Tadasana mountain pose. Take a nice inhale, guide the arms up. Reaching through your fingertips, tilt over towards the right side. Keep the chest nice and broad. Coming through center, tilt over to the left side. Keep that chest nice and broad. Good. Coming through the center, nice wide arms. Let's swan dive forward over the legs. Hanging heavy over your legs, find your palms to your shins, reaching your heart forward, halfway lift. As you exhale, fold. Now from here, step your right leg back behind you. Reach your right leg back nice and long and anchor that right foot down so your front heel is in line with your back arch. Press the pinky toe side of that right foot down. Take your right arm, reach it forward, up and back, and lift yourself up into warrior two. Feel free to adjust your stance once you're up. You don't have to enter into it perfectly. Ribs in line with hips. Again, front heel lines up with back arch, pressing through the outer line of that right leg, and finding an active external rotation for that left hip. From here, let's reverse our warrior. So flip that left palm up if you can, and gently lengthen back, reaching back with that left arm. Very little weight in that right hand. Soften your top shoulder. Keep the legs nice and stable. And then as we come back through center, let's set up for Trikanasana. So straighten your front leg, shorten your stance if you'd like. I feel a little bit more stable in the legs when I shorten the stance. Lift up. From here, tilt your ribs forward as if you're reaching your left arm forward. Hips move towards the back of your mat. And then release that left hand where it feels best, perhaps to the inner thigh or calf or ankle, or you can place that hand up on an elevated surface. So a chair, a block, a couple stacks of books, whatever you got, bring that floor closer to you. And similar to that side bend that we took standing in our Tadasana mountain pose, we want to keep that chest nice and broad and open, lengthening both sideways. So I don't care about how far you get into the pose. I want to think about more length, more space, and then breathe into that space. Now from here, as we press into the feet, let's slowly bring ourselves back up through center. Widen your stance, bend back into that front knee for warrior two. Cartwheel your hands down to meet your front foot. Pivot onto the ball of that back foot. And now step your back foot forward to meet your front foot. Take a moment to hang nice and heavy over your legs. And from there, step your left leg back behind you, warrior two. So set that up. Take a really nice long step back. Front heel lines up with your back arch. Anchor the pinky toe side of that left foot down. Use your left arm, reach it forward, up and back to lift your torso up into your warrior two. And check in with your stance. Make sure you feel nice and strong and stable there. Active external rotation as we press through the outer line of that left leg. And we'll reverse your warrior. So flip your front palm up, lifting up and back. Gentle, find that space. Very similar to that back bend. So that same concept, keeping the chest nice and open. Not back bend, side bend. Good, and nice and slowly come back through the center, set up for your Trikonasana. So straighten that front leg. If you'd like to shorten your stance, go ahead. Lift up and out of your waist. Tilt your ribs forward. Hips move back. Release that right hand to the inside of your thigh, your calf, your ankle, or again, feel free to place your hand up on an elevated prop. Good. Turn your gaze up to that lifted arm if it feels okay on your neck, lengthening out of your waist. Pressing through your feet, engage your belly, come back up through the center, widen your stance if you'd like. Bend back into that front knee. Cartwheel your hands down to meet your front foot. Pivot onto the ball of your back foot and step your back foot forward to meet your front foot. Take a moment to hang nice and heavy over your legs. Breathing deeply into your body, find your palms to your shins, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, fold. Take an inhale here, sweep the arms up to bring yourself to stand. And exhale, come back through to your Tadasana. As you ground down through your feet, take a nice inhale, guide the arms up. Connecting through your palms, nice bow forward over your legs. Finding your palms to your shins, reach your heart forward, find length and space. As you exhale, fold, and again, step your right leg back behind you, warrior two. Anchor that right foot down, use your right arm to bring your torso up. Try to keep your ribs in line with your hips. Feeling nice and strong in that stance, let's reverse your warrior. So lifting up and gently back. Really thinking always more about lifting out of the waist, lifting up, creating space, breathing into that space so we can appreciate what is here, not forcing our bodies. Come back through to center, straighten that front leg. Again, Trikanasana. So if you'd like to shorten your stance, go ahead. Lift out of your waist, tilt forward, release your left hand to the inside of your thigh, your calf, or your ankle. Right arm lifts up towards the ceiling. Take a moment breathing deeply here. Now you can feel free to stay right here, or we'll move into half moon Arda Chandrasana. So you can feel free to use a prop, take it to the pinky toe side of your left foot, anything to elevate the floor for yourself, or gently bend into your left knee. Fingertips come to the pinky toe side of that left foot or up on your prop. Start to shift your weight forward and gently lighten up on that back leg, lifting into a Trikonasana. So your hand can be on the prop or on the floor. Obviously, I am balancing here with my hand lifted to support my wrists. So your half moon may look a little different than mine. That's okay. Opening up your chest. Steady point to focus your gaze on. Feel free to come in and out of it as much as you'd like. Nice, easy breaths. And then take a bend into that supporting left knee. Release your right foot down. Come back to warrior two. That may have been graceful. It may not have been. That's okay. From here, cartwheel your hands down to meet your front foot. Pivot onto the ball of your back foot and step your back foot forward to meet your front foot. Hanging heavy over your legs. Let that spine settle. And then step your left leg back, set up for warrior two. So nice wide step back, or long step back, I should say. Left arm reaches forward, up and back to lift your torso up into your warrior two. Offer yourself a moment to really establish and feel strong in the pose. And then reverse your warrior. Flip that front palm up as you lift up and back. Soften your top shoulder, lengthen both side waists. Stable through the legs. Coming back through to warrior two, straighten that front leg. Shorten your stance if you'd like for Trikonasana. Now again, have a prop nearby you if you know you'd like it. Lift up, tilt your torso forward, hips move back, release your right hand to the inside of your thigh, your calf or your ankle as you lift your left arm up. Hand can come to your waist if it doesn't feel good to have the arm up as well. Take a moment and feel free to stay right here. Have a prop handy to the pinky toe side of your right foot if you're going to use it today. So fingertips come to the pinky toe side of that right foot or to your prop. Start to bend into your right knee as you start to shift your weight into your right foot. Play with the idea of lifting that left leg up. It can touch down at any point. You don't have to stay there. Find that steady point to focus your gaze on. Give yourself permission to come in and out of it, to tumble. It's okay. Breathe deeply. Good. And then a little bend back into your supporting knee to find your way back to your warrior two, setting yourself up. And then cartwheel your hands down to meet your front foot. Pivot onto the ball of your back foot. Step your back foot forward to meet your front foot as you hang nice and heavy over your legs. Let your head go. Maybe give the head a little shake out. bend into the knees nice and slowly. Start to roll yourself up. Head comes up last. Take a few rolls of your shoulders once you're up. Ease into your breath. Grounding down into your Tadasana mountain pose. Inhale, guide the arms up. Connecting through your palms, bow forward over your legs. Palms come to the shins, the thighs are a prop, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, step your right leg back behind you, warrior two. Use your right arm to lift you up and back, warrior two. Reverse your warrior, lifting up and back. Come back through to warrior two, Trikonasana. Straighten your front leg, shorten your stance if you'd like. Lift up, tilt forward. Release that left hand where it feels best. Opening up through the chest. Feel free to stay right here or move into your balance, half moon, Arda, Chandrasana. Bending into that front knee, send your weight forward. Lifting up. Find that variation where you feel you want to play in today. Keep that chest nice and open. Steady the gaze. Good. Bend into your supporting knee. Release that back leg down. Lift yourself back up. Beautiful. From here, turn both toes to face the long side of your mat. Nice wide stance. Make sure your heels are in line. Pigeon toe your big toes in slightly so the outer edges of your feet are parallel to your yoga mat. Take a moment with our hands at our hips. Lift up. Lengthen your tailbone. Engage your belly. Lift from the pelvic floor. And then nice and slowly tilt yourself forward. Find a nice long spine to begin, reaching forward through with the crown of your head. And as you exhale, fold forward. Let the head go. From there, walk your fingertips forward as you lift out of your waist. So gently reach your chest forward. Keep pressing the hips back here though, so we're not sending our weight forward. Still pressing our weight back as we just lengthen the spine forward. And then nice and slowly walk your hands back to find your forward fold. If your palms are down, go ahead and line your fingertips up with your toes. Bend the elbows towards the back of the room. Otherwise, you can allow the arms to dangle. You can hold on to opposite elbows if you'd like, or place your hands up on an elevated surface if you'd like a little bit more support. Just taking some nice deep breaths here. Let your head go. How do you feel in your body? Just allow yourself to stay present with whatever is there. Good. And then from here, slowly start to walk your hands towards the direction of your left foot. Turn your left toes to face the front of your mat. Pivot onto the ball of your back foot as you reach your heart forward. And then step your back foot forward to meet your front foot. Hang heavy over your legs. And then let's step our left leg back behind us. Set up warrior two. Nice long step back. Left arm lifts up, forward and back. Grounding yourself down in your warrior two. Reverse your warrior. Lifting up and back. Soften your top shoulder. As you come back through the center, set up for Trikonasana. Straighten your front leg and lift up. Tilt forward. Release your right hand to the inside of your thigh, your calf or your ankle as you lift up. And you can stay right there or set yourself up for half moon Arda Chandrasana. So bend into your front knee. Fingertips come to the pinky toe side of that right foot or to a prop. And then slowly shifting your weight into that front leg. Lifting that back leg up, giving yourself permission to come in and out of the pose. Balance should be fluid. There's movement in balance. It's not about holding stagnant statues. There's breath, there's life. Balance is about coming in and out, so not necessarily always having to hold the pose stuck, right? Just bend back into that supporting knee. Release that back leg down. Lift yourself up. Straighten that front leg. Turn to face the long edge of your mat. Take a nice wide stance. Make sure your heels are in line. Pigeon toe your big toes in slightly. Outer edges of your feet parallel to your yoga mat. Hands come to your waist. Lift up. Now again, we're going to come forward and find a long spine. So I'm just going to turn the other direction. Lift up. Find a nice long spine here. Reaching through the crown of the head. Hips are moving back in space. Breathe deeply. Inhale. Exhale, release. Let the body hang. Walk your fingertips forward. Keep pressing your hips back and lift your chest forward. So instead of bringing your weight forward into the balls of the feet, keep pressing the hips back and we reach forward with the chest. Nice full breath. And then slowly walk your hands back, coming into your forward fold. Let your head go. And we'll just take a few pulses here. So bend into the knees and lift the hips up. Bend into the knees and lift the hips up. Just a few rounds of that. If you get some sort of popping or sounds in your knees, that's okay. You can adjust yourself if that feels discomfort. But our joints can make sound. So often we get a little bit worried if our hips or our elbows or our knees make sound. Sound's okay. If it's not comfortable, if there's pain, then we want to adjust or modify. But a little bit of sound is okay. I have creaky knees. I have lots of creaks in my joints. So sometimes you'll hear a little bit of popping from the ankles or my knees. That's okay. Good. And let's slowly let that go. Walk your hands towards the direction of your right foot. Turn your right toes to face the front of the mat. Pivot onto the ball of your back foot and step your back foot forward to meet your front foot. Hanging nice and heavy over your legs. Let your head go. Now from here, find your palms to your shins. Reach your heart forward, lengthen your spine, then reach your palms down and step your feet back. Hold your plank here for a moment. Again, feel free to modify. You can lower those knees down, your forearms and your knees. Holding your plank, breathe deep. And lower down to the belly, either from your hands and your knees or your hands and your feet. Find your back bend with your forearms down or your palms down, lifting your heart. And then we'll slowly lower back down and we'll take a few moments here on our bellies. We'll move into some more Locust Pose. Breathing deeply. Feel free to rest if you'd like, or reach your fingertips back, lift your chest forward, maybe lift those legs, lengthening, breathing, finding lots of length and space in the back of your neck, soften your jaw. Good, and then nice and slowly, let's lower back down. Take a moment to notice how that feels in your body. And then again, reach your fingertips back, lift your chest, lengthening the legs back. And nice and slowly lower back down. Just taking a moment. And one more time, lifting up, reaching your fingertips back, legs lengthen back. Engage your belly, lengthen your tailbone if you'd like here. You can bend your knees, pull your heels towards the glutes. I'm going to flex my feet and start to press the feet up towards the ceiling. Even more activation in those glutes and those hamstrings. Think of squeezing the top of your thighs towards each other. Building a lot of strength there, pressing those feet up towards the ceiling for 1, still breathing, for 2, long neck, for 3, lower down. Let your forehead rest on the backs of your hands, bend your knees, take a few windshield wipers, rocking your feet from side to side. Let that spine slowly start to settle. Nice, full, easy breaths here. Good. Now from there, let's push up through to our hands and our knees. Take a moment in a child's pose. So here our purpose is to neutralize our spine. So if child's pose is not for you, come on up and take some cats and cows, or you can take a downward facing dog or hug your knees into your chest on your back. So just take a few moments there to let that spine settle, to breathe into your body. Nice and easy. Good. Wonderful. Now in a moment, we're going to come into pigeon pose. If it's not a supportive pose for you, I'll give alternates as we move through it. So feel free to take a variation. And I'm going to approach the pose from tabletop position. I like this way to get into the pose. It helps to support the strength of rotating in your hip as opposed to momentum. But if you prefer downward facing dog prep to move into your pigeon pose, you can feel free to take that. So I'm going to come up to the hands and the knees. You may be in down dog, that's okay. Gently lift your right knee, pull your right knee forward, rotate your right hip open. Now you may need to use your left hand to support you in the leg taking that action, that's okay. Knee falls in line with your wrist, and then from there slowly start to send your left leg back in space. I just need to shift myself forward, bear with me. Good. And you can stay upright here, or if you'd like, you can come forward. You can let your forehead rest on something soft if you'd like. I love placing a soft block or pillows, a bolster if you have it, or a rolled up towel underneath the right hip to support it. It tends to want to drop down. And here I'd love us to keep our hips a little bit more even and level. So if you need that support underneath your right hip, I really encourage it. So if we feel tension in our knees, we know that this is not the variation of a hip opener that's right for us. So you may want to modify by bending that back knee and taking a deer pose instead. So you'll bend the knees into a 90-90 position. Knees are in line with your ankles, and you can lift up, or you can tilt forward into a forward fold, or you can choose to take a figure four. So bending your knees, taking your right ankle on your left thigh, and you can keep the leg extended as you rotate your hip, or you can bend that left knee. You can stay upright, or you can come down to your forearms, or you can even come down to your back, and you can keep that left foot down, or take a thread the needle, holding onto the back of that left thigh. Always give yourself lots of options. Some days you may choose to take a pigeon pose, and other days it doesn't feel like it's actually supporting our whole practice. And this practice is not just about the body. So it's not just about a hip stretch here. Allowing ourselves to stay present with perhaps feelings of discomfort. Staying present with the sensations in the body and reacting with compassion. And sometimes that means we react by modifying. Sometimes that means we react by adjusting. And sometimes it means we react by being, just being with the discomfort. Each and every day, your practice will be different. There's so much beauty in that. There can be a lot of comfort in this feeling that everything changes. Good, let's slowly come on up. So bringing yourself up, if you were in another variation, feel free to slowly shift to the other side. For your pigeon, you can slowly lower that hip down, and come on back up to your hands and your knees. You can feel free to take a down dog there if you'd like. And then let's come forward to the other side. So pulling your left knee forward, rotate your left hip open. And again, you can use your right hand to support you in that if you'd like. And then start to shift your right leg back and set yourself up however you see fit. So as you move into the pose, maybe you're not feeling it this side. Perhaps you support yourself by using pillows, blocks, or bolsters. Maybe you stay up, maybe you come forward. Perhaps you bend that back knee and you take deer pose on this side. 90-90, ankles and knees in line, lifting up or coming forward. Or again, that figure 4, ankle on thigh, rotating the left hip open, staying upright or coming down to your forearms, or if you'd like, come on down to your back and keep the foot down or take thread the needle. It's all the same pose. We're all working within the practice. Just depends on what's supporting your body today. And your mind and your heart, as we spoke of. The whole practice. And then noticing as we settle into our variation of the pose, noticing the breath. Is there space for a little bit more breath? Does our experience in the pose slowly shift, change? Does the breath initiate that, or does it reflect that? Just getting a little bit more curious about the subtleties of your practice. Good, and then nice and slowly, let's come on back up. And we're going to come to a seated position. So come on up in the easiest way possible. I'm just going to swing my back leg forward. You can use something to help you in coming up if you'd like. Now I'm going to sit up on my blanket. You can roll up the back of your yoga mat, or you can sit up on a cushion or a towel, whatever you happen to have. Sitting up really nice and tall, extend your right leg out to the side and hug your left leg in towards your body. So if this bringing your leg in doesn't feel quite right, you can take the leg a little bit further forward if that gives your body the space it may require. And then take your right hand to your right leg. Activate your right leg. So feel your quad engage by engaging that kneecap. Flexing your right foot here, feeling the calf engage. And as you take that right hand to your right leg, lift your left arm up and over, taking a side bend. So recognizing the similarities here to what we did in our standing flow, our Trikonasana. So again, although this is fine, dropping that left shoulder forward, I'd love for us to create a little bit more space. So that same concept that we found in our Trikanasana and our half moon, opening up the chest, creating space, lengthening both sideways. We don't have to go as far as we think we need to go, or even to what is available. We can go to the place where we have more space. Good, and then nice and slowly, let's come back to center. Gently turn your body towards that right leg and nice and slowly tilt yourself forward. Stay where you'd like to stay. Stop where you'd like to stop. Keep that leg engaged. And slowly bring yourself up. to shift to the other side. So extend your left leg out to the side, right leg comes in. Again, feel free to modify that. Anchor your left leg down, engage your quad, flex through the foot, engage and feel that engagement in your shin. Left hand comes to the left side, right arm lifts up and over. Okay, moving into available space, that's fine. But here I just want a little bit more space. I want to stay a little bit more open in the front of the body. Find that relationship from pose to pose. One pose can teach us something that's going to support another pose. Feeling that lovely push back from your upper back. Beautiful opening for the front of the body. Breathing, settle the shoulders. And nice and slowly come back to center. Lift up and out of your waist. Turn towards that left side. As we begin to lift up, you may want to stay upright or slowly begin to tilt yourself forward. Stay where you'd like to stay. Stop where you'd like to stop. Lengthen the back of the neck. Good, and then nice and slowly, let's come on back up through center and open both legs up nice and wide. Nice wide-legged forward fold here. So let's lift up and out of the waist. Legs can be further forward. They don't have to be as wide as they can possibly go. Press your thighs down. So think of the activation and the strength and the grounding in this pose through your thighs, the back of your legs, as opposed to the sit bones, because we're going to ask the pelvis to tilt forward. So fingertips behind you, lift and stay right here, or ask the pelvis to tilt forward as we lengthen our spine forward, but keep pressing your thighs down. Gently reaching forward, stay where you'd like to stay, stop where you'd like to stop. Keep the thighs pressing down, so almost feeling like there's an active external rotation in the hips, and just asking the pelvis to do the work there. Well, the thighs are actually doing the work and the pelvis is surrendering into the pose, but you get the idea. Take a nice deep breath here. And then nice and slowly come on back up through center. Lovely. Take a bend into your knees, legs come forward, and give your legs a little shake out. And let's ease our way down to our backs. So come on down with care, honking your knees into the chest. Give the knees a good little squeeze, a few little rocks from side to side. Stay with this, or take a happy baby, bending your knees towards the outside of your ribs or armpits, holding onto the back of your thighs, your calves, or the tops of your feet, gently rocking there, or again, stay with Uttanasana. Breathing steady. And then as we slowly begin to release that, take your arms into a nice wide T position beside you. Shift your hips over to the left as you drop your knees over to the right. Let your spine settle. Your upper back releases down to the floor. You can keep your knees stacked or cross your top knee over your bottom knee, breathing, softening. Come on back up through the center, shift to the other side. Hips move to the right, knees to the left. Keep your knees stacked or cross your top knee over your bottom knee. Just take a moment, breathing the weight of your body down. No need to hold anything. We don't need to force anything. Staying really nice and present. What is here? Slowly come on back through to center and prepare for your final posture, Shavasana. So if there are any socks or sweaters you'd like to put on, go ahead. Any sips of water or final movements you'd like to take, feel free. And then find the most comfortable position for your body to rest in today. Perhaps a corpse pose, legs extended, arms extended, eyes closed. Or souped up Arda Ganasana, taking the soles of the feet together, knees open to the side. Or take the soles of the feet to the outside of your yoga mat, let your knees fall in at center. Constructive rest, we took that earlier. Or roll over to your side, rest on the side of your body or on your belly. Pad yourself up with any pillows, bolsters, blocks, anything that supports your body in releasing here. And feel free to rest in a nice cozy couch or chair if you prefer. Now, once you settle the body and you find that place, allowing your eyes to softly close, really bringing the attention inward. Relaxing your toes and your feet, your legs and your hips, your belly and your chest, your shoulders and your arms, your hands and your fingers. Releasing some tension in your neck, your jaw, the space between your eyebrows, your forehead, and rest. And slowly begin to bring a greater awareness to your body and the space around you. And perhaps invite your breath to deepen. Slowly inviting a little bit of movement into your body. Maybe wiggle your fingers, your toes, or take a really nice long stretch. And from there, in the easiest way possible, bring yourself up to a nice, comfortable seated position. And we will end our practice together today. Settling yourself up, sitting really nice and tall. You can allow your palms to rest on your body. Maybe one hand to heart, one hand to chest, or hands at heart center, wherever you'd like to finish your practice today. Just take a moment, bowing the head. Bring that gratitude back to mind, reminding yourself what it is you are grateful for. And then see here if for a moment you can really tune that gratitude into your body and thank yourself for taking the time to practice today. It is no small feat. And I thank you for sharing your practice with me. Stay well. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was wonderful, as always, to be with you. And I hope to see you again next week. Now, again, I will be away on Friday. Unfortunately, I have to see this specialist again on Friday, but hopefully next week I'll be back Wednesday and Friday. But I'll definitely be back on Wednesday, so I hope to see you then. And again, feel free to ask any questions if you have any or any sharings. And otherwise, I look forward to practicing with you again. Stay well. Thank you, Brittany. That's so kind of you.